Happy Hawaiian Shirt Friday. It's John again playing Immaculate Grid, playing for the low rarity score. Wearing a Milwaukee Brewers Hawaiian shirt that I've had since like 2003. So maybe I should get a new one. But in the meantime, I wear it on Fridays and I'm ready to go. I think there was anything too crazy from yesterday's game. That's right. It's Gold Gloves and Hall of Famers. I usually struggle with Gold Gloves, but I was able to come up with these. Kudos to those in the comments. Turns out Bobby Grich was a better pick here for the Orioles, and yeah, that was a surprisingly high pick. Julio Franco, even at 2%, I was just like, he only played one at bat with the Tampa Bay Rays, Devil Rays, but still an overall pretty good game. Let's hit refresh. Let's get right into this one. Same format as before. We've just got the one team here and three over here. Interesting. And then we've got Silver Slugger MVP. The Silver Slugger MVP will line up with the Tigers, Cardinals, and Dodgers, as will. They'll have to all line up with the Phillies. So let's get going then. Um, let's see. I think Silver Sluggers. Silver Sluggers are interesting. So Silver Slugger starts in 1980. Um, One good flex that I saw from a lot of the commenters was coming up with players who won. Well, no, that's not going to work here. Just kidding. If it's a category in Silver Slugger, then you can take if MVP, for example, was over here. I just point at the screen. If MVP was over here, you could take a person who won an MVP and later won a Silver Slugger. I think that was the category. So like Joe Morgan actually worked for that one, but Silver Slugger is only started in 1980, so that bounds you a little bit. Um, and trying to think of at one point I was like looking at the early Silver Sluggers, and I'm not sure if I've how well I've retained that. Ooh, I've got a good one here. It is Mr. Bob Orch. Yeah, I think I'm spelling that right. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I'm notorious for terrible pronunciation, but he won a couple of the early Silver Sluggers for pitchers in like 80, 81 time frame. So he goes. It's not a great mustache. It's an interesting look. Yeah, he goes less than 1%. That's good. Let's see, MVP for the Cardinals. How about Orlando Cepeda being a good early MVP? I mean, I think Goldschmidt's going to do really well, and obviously Pools will probably be number one. Goldschmidt because of the recency. Be a good number two. Willie McGee won the 1985 MVP award. Keith Hernandez co-won with Willie Stargell the 1979 MVP award. Orlando Cepeda won an MVP, I want to say 67, which was also a World Series winning year. Bob Gibson won the next year in 68. I think that about covers MVPs for a while, and then you get in the 20s and 30s. I do think Frankie Fritsch won an MVP with the Cardinals. I did write about him in my book about how he was traded for Rogers Hornsby. I think he won an MVP with both the New York Giants and the St. Louis Cardinals. I think I've got that right. Lock him in, 0.3%. Pretty good there. Let's try the Tigers. Hal Newhouser will work. Hal Newhouser won back-to-back MVPs, I think 44, 45. Denny McLain will work for 1968. I believe Greenberg does work. Gehringer, I think, works as well. They're all around the same. Like I think Gehringer's 37-ish. Greenberg won two at different positions. He was the first person to do that. Subsequent was Stan Musial, Robin Yount, and then Alex Rodriguez. Um, And then Willie Hernandez won the 1984 MVP award. Um, Man, but probably not a lot recently. Verlander will, and Cabrera both won MVPs. Cabrera won two MVPs, 2012, 2013. I think he'll be the highest vote getter, followed by Verlander. A lot of Detroit pitchers have won MVP awards. I'm going with Newhouser. It was a long preamble to say I think I'm just going to land on Hal Newhouser. 3%. Maybe I was better off with Geringer or Greenberg. It's all right. And then for the Dodgers, how about we get us some Don Newcomb, who won the MVP and the very first Cy Young Award in the same year, which I believe was 56. He goes 1%. How about for Philadelphia and Detroit? I'm going to go to someone I've used before, I think with Detroit All-Star, but Schoolboy Rowe played for both of these teams, as well as the actually he would work down here. Would he be better there? Because he also played for the Dodgers. Maybe that's better. Because I could go Jim Bunning here. Placido Polanco works for both of these. Probably works over here too. Now I've got to strategize because Schoolboy Rowe would be even better down. Maybe I'm getting greedy. Maybe I'm getting greedy. But he'll work down here too. He played for the Brooklyn Dodgers. I think Lefty O'Doul. I want to say he played for the Brooklyn Dodgers as well, so he'd be an interesting pick here. Jim Bunning would work up here. Let's go with that. Let's go. Actually, I am going to go Schoolboy Row here. Great name. I'm going to credit Jessica Brand with this one. She used in one of her less than 5 rarity score grids. He goes 0.1. Let's see how Lefty does. 0.08. Nice. So doing yeah, both of these guys really low. And then for Philadelphia and St. Louis, not Kurt Flood, because he refused to basically go through with the trade to Philadelphia, but he was traded to Philadelphia. But that was a big moment in the MLB labor movement. Let's see, who are some other good ones? Placido Polanco works. Scott Rowland works better. They were traded for one another. Or when I say works better, probably gets a higher percentage. He might be the high score there. If I think of anyone really recent who'd do better. Ron Gant will work. Dick Allen will work. Who would work better? Ron Gant's a lot more recent. Dick Allen's was a much better player. I'll go Ron Gant. He was the Cardinals left fielder when the Brewers moved to the National League, so I distinctly remember him over there. I know he played for the Phillies. 0.7%, pretty good. So I'm doing all right. So far, Hal Newhouser has been the biggest pick. I'll go back later. I'll see if some of those other guys would have worked a little better, but we're not done yet. We're not done yet. We got to come up with Silver Sluggers, and we know we've got it bound to the 80s. I'm starting in the 80s, the early 80s. With the Tigers, actually, I've got a good one here. I believe former Milwaukee Brewer Tim Leary was a Silver Slugger winner for the Dodgers as a pitcher. Yes, I was right about that. He goes 0.2%. All right. Now we're focusing in on the Tigers. Let's see here. I did look I remember going through and just being like, how many of these pitchers do I think I'll be able to retain? I was able to get these guys. Mike Hampton works for a few different teams. Greinke works for a few different teams, although I don't think he's a good rarity scorer. People are on to the fact that Greinke is a tremendous athlete. Gonna miss watching him play. Silver Slugger, Detroit Tigers. Cecil Fielder, I think would work. I can't prove it. I mean, I can prove it. I could just bring up Baseball Reference right now. I think Lou Whitaker won. Like 83 was a really good year for Lou Whitaker. It would be weird if he didn't win the Silver Slugger that year. I just did. Was he better than Bobby Grich? Was he better than Frank White? Was he better? I think he was probably better offensively than Frank White. Was he better than Willie Randolph? That's the only thing that would hold me back from going with Whitaker. Like I mentioned, Placido Polanco, I think 2006 or seven, I think seven. Placido Polanco had a 340 average with Detroit, something like that. Magglio Ordonez had a monster year in 2007. He would work. I wonder how Cabrera is going to do, considering you've got to go. You can only pick him for one, but he definitely won many a Silver Slugger. Maybe Prince Fielder in 2012. A lot of maybes though. Alan Trammell's one that I'm very sure about. Lou Whitaker, I'm a little less sure about, but I gotta figure he got in there somewhere. Cecil Fielder, I feel pretty confident in for the when he hit over 50 home runs. Um, and then yeah, let's see, Pudge Rodriguez will work. I feel like he hit over 330 in his first year with Detroit. I think he would definitely work for catcher. Um, I don't know about Carlos Guillen. He had a monster year in 2006 when the Tigers went to the World Series, but also having a monster year that season, and who probably should have won MVP was Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter had a huge year in 2006, so he probably won Silver Slugger at shortstop for that season. Even though Guillen was outstanding. And I mean, like Kirk Gibson in the 80s, maybe. Chet Lemon, maybe. Um, Other catchers. Here's where I think I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna go with Pudge Rodriguez because he's too famous. But I think like the Rangers had a string of catchers. Lance Parrish, Matt Noakes, Mickey Tettleton. I think all of those guys were winning Silver Sluggers in the 80s. Um, like I think those three guys probably combined for like 7 or 8 Silver Sluggers from like 82 to 92 or something like that. Somewhere in there. Let's go Matt Noakes. Final answer. I've dwelled enough on this one. I think he might have actually been a rookie winning that Silver Slugger. Woo! Ready to score 6. Pretty happy with that. Half of that coming from Hal Newhouser. Which there's only been 9 MVPs in Detroit history. I think I got most of them. This is a funky looking grid because it's got Cabrera for both these spots on top, and then Pujols for both these spots down here. And these are all high grossing things, which means a significant percent, like close to, you'd have to do a weighted average, but probably close to 70% of people picked Cabrera for one of these, and probably another 50% picked Pujols for one of these. You can't just add these numbers up because some people might have gotten one but not the other, and that's reflected down here. Lowest score was 57% for Philadelphia, St. Louis. I went with Scott Rowland there. Castellanos, nice. Got about him. Yeah, I should have figured Trey Turner would be a high getter here. But I remembered Lefty O'Doul. So this is people have been pretty successful on this grid so far. Looks like there have been about a third of people have gotten 9 out of 9. So all right, cool. Well, Rarity score 6. I'm pretty happy with that. Just for fun, let's take a look at Detroit MVPs. Let's see if I got them all. Gotta do this. I guess I can look at everyone's MVPs, but let's look at Detroit. So Ty Cobb gets an early one. Mickey Cochran. I was right about Gehringer, Greenberg twice. I think I listed everybody. And so it's really just a question of I didn't list Cochran or Cobb for that matter. I didn't know if I think I've looked at this before, and yeah, early MVPs count. But Cobb's pretty famous. Cochran might have done a little better than Newhouser, but still 3% from one that's only got 9 is pretty good. So I'll go ahead and call that a win. Stop sharing. My link to my book will be in the description. If you like this rant, style of doing this grid. Books very similar kind of banter. So um, appreciate everyone tuning in, and I'll be back at it tomorrow, probably with a little bit of an earlier episode since Saturday. So have a wonderful weekend. Peace.